and conspirators them don put this constitution together na a criminal enterprise. Dem keep everybody out. We try take for the included, we try take for make we be part of am. Dem go begin dey tell you say no, dem be don get white paper, dem be don get black paper, dem be don get blue paper, dem be don get all them kind paper, dem be don get, so na dem go look am how dem do am. Now they don't come up with this particular document wey boku nonsense dey pan bad thing wey no good for this country. Anything wey dey look at constitution, if na like you consult the people dem, consult them so that if dem dey make mistake sef by accepting am, they go live up to that responsibility and take responsibility, say yes, now we accept. But when they go underground, when they do all kind of activity, they will go put in the parliament. The PI system, now they pay money, they go to canteen, them hire experts, say they go all over this country. People they say they don't want the PI system, why would I put in the constitution? Not of bad people and nobody go do that. The people that wait for acceptance say they don't want them. You go put on the constitution back. I go let them go the experts there. And then I am. Whether we can talk in detail about this constitution, about the simple majority where they put there. You know, people that think say that they don't more get sense, all other people are fool. Simple majority there, it will get to a point in time. If somebody get 30% of the votes, if they rule this country, 30% of the vote, because at that point in time, 30% they get simple majority. Because other people they get 10, 15, I don't understand. But they get 30, they get big passport, so now they rule the country. So which means 70% of the people will not sign with that 30%. When they rule the country, na 30% na they can rule the country. And that kind of thing they bring by this constitution. We all owe a responsibility, not to the parliamentarian, they don't know, not to the executive of the party, no more. We all get responsibility for team up against this constitution. Any kind of way we able. And we advise. The other day, I see peace commission Canada. I say, una dey call una say peace commission. Una no dey want the government say. Then the babu business here wey dey make. Na dey bring katakata o. Una ready una kind APC party. Una say una wan make peace. Peace commission. Do ya? Una go tell Mandabio and people dey say this constitution. Na dem be don begin am. Say PR system. People dey say they no want to be too money. They don force for put and they una tell them say they wan bring katakata na this country. PPRC, una no say na APC to find APC. Provocation is next door. Provocation is next door. The governments they provoke APC. Una no dey talk nothing. Where APC exhibits now say this thing will not go take am again. Una begin say una wan fight it. This thing will not take am again. We all as Sierra Leoneans do not want to behave responsibly. Let us come for twist constitution because you think say favor you. And una when they are the press and other people there, and una Sierra Leoneans they when they listen to me. So man go sit down in corner. He said because in a SLPP this is well and good. You are fooling yourself and you are a dangerous element to this society because it is going to affect you and your children tomorrow. But for now you think it is good for you. Let us do wetin good for this country from the one. I am now specifically addressing our members of parliament, starting from you, our leader in parliament. This is your time. Money is not everything in life. There comes a time in a man's life when you get to define your character, you get to define yourself, what you stand for. Anybody in life will not stand for something, you stand for nothing. You have to stand for something. And now is the time for you to stand for something. Something will not only the touch on you, it a touch on you begin where you get for born or you don't born now. You get for 50 pitch of what you get for doing in parliament this time. This is a normal area for anybody in life. Even somebody where he make that way, certain time they say no, this I am not going below this standard. I'm not this one. It's my red line. You are going to say red line. Let it be with red line. Let it be with members of parliament in a red line. We don't hear it, and they talk in a corner. Then SLPD people there. We know how to deal with APC members of parliament there. They have started talking to you, some of you. The people of this country will not forgive you. I'm telling you, the people of this country will not forgive you. So many things have happened. But, as I said, whatever don't happen, a time for calm. We for say this is my red line. Please, APC members of parliament, let this be your red line. The people will not castigate we for more win election. We go into money. So many things don't happen within the country, inside parliament, outside parliament. Let the people begin to believe in you, Mr. Leader. I know you people have tried very hard. Members of parliament, you work very hard. Very hard. But let me tell you one thing. No matter how hard you work, there comes a time when one particular issue, if you don't try for all and time that one, people will feel say you don't do nothing. And this is the time. But one particular thing the way they do, when you do them, people and they hear you say, it let you not be doing anything, and they say you have done everything for them in life. This one is it. You have our support. We will give you that support. And we are asking the people of this country, say they won't play bad habits by the constitution. Please give our members of parliament your support. It's not yet late. I'm talking out to the government. It's not late. When I not see what you want to do, that it dangerous. Not only to be said to una the government, to you, Madam Yo, and all the other government people left and una generation yet unborn. If una do what you want to do, this constitution, una not say not only they affect we, it affect una and una picking and tomorrow. Why you want for one? It's not yet late. Remove that particular thing from parliament and let me make a right. We are not kicking against a new constitution if it is going to do good to this country. We are kicking against the bad things that are there. Why will we want a new constitution if it is going to save the problems of this country? Yeah, we go love for do that. But we will make sure say we will not cross the red line. APC get red line. I see the chairman of the census committee local. And the chief minister talk all kind of business. All kind lao and flower business. They talk about the tripartite. They don't comply 100%. We will not comply nothing to 98. Most of the issues that are Kenkeni, we will not say it. And I want to sign this to the international community. And all Serenians, waiting the chief minister in the top, in on the top 2 for say they don't comply 80%, you know, that lie they lie. He talk your way, he talk for the attack APC. Nobody not caution I too. When APC talk no my attack and they want caution me. We not take caution again, we not caution me. For the census, you, the head of the census, I'm not talking about logos, I'm talking about Madabio in Abonti. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. We are not going to tolerate any kind of a no-she figure what they give. We don't see the first figure there. Then figure there, now rubbish figure there. When they send people there, Now other side them where una get interest pan, una dey back people and dem go cut people dem. When e reach to the APC struggle, una dey send 2 people dem or 3 people dem. We go cut big side wey big pass. Then side them na southeast, one of the key 10, 7, all big number. We are not trying to be regionalistic or tribalistic here, but we are drawing it to your attention that what you are doing is a disservice to this nation. Retract from that and do what is right. You know, Mr. Moderator, there are times where things then come, where issues like this, tendency there, when you become emotional for it plenty. And I think it is time for me to stop at this point and thank everybody, listeners, and everybody who wish well for this country. I thank you all.
We want to tell me, Secretary General, plenty thank you. Also just for the statement we give now, but for the passion we don't exhibit over time, we don't be Secretary General of this party. And even before he be Secretary General of the party, a patriotism we don't demonstrate to this country. I think I want to recognize eminent personalities and I have before we move forward. We want to recognize, of course, National Secretary General who just gave a statement. We want to recognize the former Deputy Secretary General of the party, Honorable Usman Abdal Timbo. We want to recognize the presence of a former Minister of Government and a flag bearer aspirant, Dr. Kefara Mara. We want to recognize the presence of a former Minister of Government and a former aspirant of the party, the name of Almami Petito Kuroma. We want to recognize the presence of a former Minister of Government in the name and also the leader of the Census Committee, senior comrade Leonard Balugu Kuroma. We want to recognize the presence of a former Member of Parliament, Honorable Rosalind J.K. Smith. We want to recognize the presence of the Publicity Secretary, National Publicity Secretary, Comrade C.D. Yahya Tunis. We want to recognize, again, blessing for continue. We want to recognize the presence of the Deputy Leader too, Honorable Aaron Aruna Kuroma. We want to recognize the presence of the leader, our astute leader in Parliament, Honorable Abdul Kago. We want to recognize the members of Parliament the way they are today. The Deputy Whip 2 Denaya, Honorable Kemoko Conte. We get to Member of Parliament from Kono, Honorable Tamba Kelly, from Tombolili, Honorable Daniel Bangura, from Bombali, Honorable John Charles Conte. We want to recognize the President of the Youth League, the untouchable, as somebody said, at the Equa. But I get a lot of respect to him, and I love him so much. Mr. Ansu Banat. We want to recognize the Secretary of the Western Region. They are with me today, Abu Tijan Sise. We want to recognize the members of Parliament who also double as the Secretary of the Western District with Honorable Abdullahi Kamara, best man. We get Honorable from Kono, Lucinda Kelly. We get Member of Parliament from Falaba, Honorable Mohamed Alpha Jallo. We get to Member of Parliament from Gambia, we now Honorable Mohamed Bangura. We get to Honorable from Politis, we now Honorable Solomon P.S. Lako, Papi Lako, Honorable from Urban, Western Urban. Honorable Rosie Kanu, Camille Neva, Mahalentok, get to Member of Parliament, Senior Member of Parliament from Bombali District, Honorable Salim Osise, who get to Member of Parliament from Sonkolini, Honorable Rigatu Kamara, Honorable from Sonkolini, Honorable Jawa Sise, who get to Honorable from Sonkolini again, Jackson Samemko, Honorable Alaji Soriba Toure, who get to Member of Parliament from Bombali, the erudite Barry, Ibrahim Barry, who get to Member of Parliament from Bombali, another Mohamed Bangura, but this is Papa Bangura, and we get a Member of Parliament from Sonkolini, with our Honorable Daniel Kona. I see a former Member of Parliament, Naya, who will be here at the 5th Parliament, Honorable Dr. Kaloko. I want to express the sincere appreciation for all the press people that were there for grace this occasion, from Star TV, from AYV, from SLBC, from Epic Radio, and the press gallery, and also with bloggers and from the party. We also get somebody from Liberty TV. I want to recognize our presence now. I think say I don't justice to presence now. Anybody who are not calling me on forgive me. And I think say one move. Oh yes, I will come to that, and I've not even introduced you. Honorable Aminata Sise from Kutsuoko District is here. Honorable Ben Alpha Manzare, we will be supporting deputy. Maybe one of his people the whole report, and a very supportive man, and I will not soldier at the south. And me when they talk so, me now Honorable Dr. Rufus Omiji from Western Urban District. I think say now with publicity secretary now, we want to call on somebody, wait for calm, talk now on issues that we touch on elections. And we don't hold to say we cannot talk about issues when they get for during elections when they talk about census. And we don't learn and realize this government don't deliberately try to manage the information and ensure say they want to keep census out of this election. And we say that is wrong. Because from 2015 to now, we're not able to get a national census where we speak to the population of this country. And if we don't get a national census where they speak to the population of this country, you know, we will let people that will represent the people of this country. The population of this country is critical. Because one, it supports economic development and nation. If we maintain say we are 8 million people, it will undermine the support we even will get from donor partners. So anytime we government is trying to skew the numbers for fix their political agenda, we need to resist that. So with that, I think say I want to call on the senior colleague where they need the census committee and the APC party, where no other but Comrade Uncle Leonard Kalubu Kuruma. For let me make a statement. Now put my hand together for one, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable members of Parliament here present, national officers here present, Black Bear aspirants, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the court. They don't ask me to talk about the census. And when you talk about census, certain terminology then they, where if I not take the time a little bit, 1 or 2 minutes, to explain to una, as we proceed, maybe una not going to understand clearly. A census is for count the population of a country. But not only population, no more than can count by a decennial census. A decennial census now every 10 years, 9 for whole. So during that 10 years, then they count the population, then they count schools, then they count farms, then they count other facilities, then businesses, because them figures they speak to not only the population where they use for the limitation of constituency boundaries, then also they use them for development purposes. So they get to be reliable data. So in the first place, before you hold a census, you get to get what they call a pilot census. A pilot census is 1 year before the actual census. A pilot census is a test census. It's like a dress rehearsal. But let them test the personnel, then test the equipment, then test the logistics, then make sure say everything they in place. Now the pilot census. We don't do that one day. But interestingly, we get 5 regions in Sierra Leone. Statistics Sierra Leone choose for do and 4 regions, they exclude the Northwest region. We don't know what's in the reason, but they totally exclude the Northwestern region. They do and the rest of all regions of the country. What will come in the next stage are what they call cartographic mapping. Cartography is the science and drawing of maps. So the cartographic mapping, as the word entails, then they map out the entire country into what they call enumeration areas. That enumeration area, by definition, is a geographical unit. Say, for example, you take from APC office to Congo Cross Bridge to St. John down to Ascension Town. That square there can be one enumeration area. And the threshold for an enumeration area in the urban area like Freetown are between 450 to 600 people. In the rural areas, now from 300 to 450 people. So this stage, we start with it now. We don't do the pilot census. We then now plan the cartographic mapping. Inside the cartographic mapping, we don't do phase 1 from October to December. We don't start phase 2 from January 19th to January 5. When the census process starts, 5. When the census process starts, the party in the wisdom decide to set up a census technical committee. For the first time in the history of politics in Sierra Leone, no political party not set up a census committee. So why the party decide to do this? Now because of the lessons learned from the discredited 2021 midterm census. The 2021 midterm census will not be participate as a party for good reasons. Also, the international community, they're not been participate because they advise against the census. They're not been seen necessary at the time. And they're not been believed say the outcome of that census day and the data where they will derive from that census day, it will be credible enough for be used for developmental purposes. But the government decided to go ahead. The international community withhold funding. The government decided to find other ways to provide funding for that census. What are the results? We can't get now figures wey not credible. Them figures they nobody
of certain districts in this country. The reason behind certain decisions who governments they make. Now, the APC government not be create Karime and Calabar because they just want hard districts. When you take Calabar and Kwenadubu and be one district, with Kabbalah being the headquarters town. Now, Usai Mongodi, when are the current headquarters town for Calabar district, the distance between Mongo and Kabbalah, if you drive with the way how the road condition dey now, you no go take minimum, you no go take less than 8 hours for drive between Mongo and Kabbalah. Now imagine in a Bele woman, the only hospital wey be there na Kabbalah turn a day, the only government hospital wey get all the facilities for dealing with complications and everything. The only senior secondary school na Kabbalah. So imagine picking them for drive 8 hours for go school every day. Imagine somebody there for drive 8 hours for access medical care every day. Able to justify to let people appear to let people a day. Most people in Amongo are district like Ono or sometimes Guinea. Now they go for access to basic facilities. So now on that basis the government believes they don't make them this place the district. So that facilities then they will come. They will get a hospital, they will get a schools, they will get the basics then where every district, every citizen of this country is entitled to. I want to get that day in mind. They said for Karime, if you take Kamakwe and we take Makeni, that distance they in far. But now, let we take what's in there one for two. If you say you create Banajuma district, Banajuma and Pujo already in one district. So they want to take half of Go, half of Pujo, and create Banajuma district. Then we assume say the headquarters town will be Banajuma town. You know what's in the distance between Banajuma town and Pujo town? And it take me 15 minutes for drive from Banajuma to Pujo. 15 minutes. That it take me from Banajuma to Pujo. Compare that one day to 8 hours of driving from Mongo to Kabbalah. No government not for justifying kind of thing. No government. So these are things we need to understand reasons behind why certain government will take certain decisions compared to other government. We went from east from Bonubu to Kenema, maximum they will take you 30 minutes if the road fine. From Bonubu town, Usai would like to be the headquarters for Bonubu district in the later to Kenema town. Maximum they will take you for 30 minutes. Compare that day to 6-7 hours for drive from Kamakwe to Makeni. So these are things where we as citizens for know. All with the expect of government, when they don't come, make sure say we construct the hospitals in Calabar, let them get schools, let Kamakwe get schools, so that then people the way they suffer, way they struggle for access their amenities, they were able to access them, rather than them trying to create additional district when it is not necessary. Even if population increase within a district, you don't create a new district. You go increase the wards or you increase the constituencies, but you don't go create district. But clearly, they're not able to increase the constituencies and the wards because again, they don't do this illegal thing of ignoring the constitutional provisions where clearly make provision under section 38 that a constituency will be used in this country. They want to introduce the PR, so they therefore justify the creation of district rather than the creation of constituencies, I hope you don't understand. These are the things we the court estate or they make let the people of this country know. So that comparison whether they try to make OAPC they do this now, they're quite different from their own intention. Having said that, now bring in the next speaker. As you all know, government don't care a bill going to parliament where that will amend the constitution of this country. But of course that bill they focus on areas that are the constitution where they want to amend, we get to do with election business. For some reason they rush the election while they go parliament quickly and for try to amend. And also that they make reference to recommendations then at the tripartite report. But they come to explain to us today why we feel say they're not honest and sincere with we at this country, because the recommendations in the tripartite report and some of the things the way they put on the amendments where they want to do, they tweak them, they change them, they're different. But people will explain our day. And for that we start, one of the amendments so that you propose. Now wait of the search committee for let we forget electoral commissioners in this country. The tripartite recommendations we propose how we say we forget electoral commissioners and which body for be responsible for make recommendations of 5 citizens who qualify to the president or appointment. But of course you see the bill, the tweak that one day small, and we will explain that one day. And now we also understand why make this important, because the tripartite report, a report produced by representatives of SLPP government and the APC. So we normally say if we don't agree on something and you want for now put am inside the constitution for change the letters as they are in the report. No, good. So I will bring in Honorable Rosalie Jaria to Smith, when astute female member of the APC and the Honorable Member of Parliament, one of the finest who will be met at the 5th Parliament. We can commonly call her JK. I will now call on Honorable Court Parliament, Honorable Rosalie. Honorable Rosalie Jaria to speak.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and National Publicity Secretary. I will start by the existing protocol. Good afternoon. Atina Kayaso as chairperson for all former members of Parliament, will collaborate with the current members of Parliament and the executive of the party for take the party in position with regards to this constitution, the constitutional amendment where the SLPP government don't bring to Parliament. To start with, the APC party is not against the review of the constitution. We want to make that very clear that the APC party is not against the review of the constitution. Famulon, I can recall, say, the elections 2023, because of the Yuki business where we did by the elections, where the SLPP government blatantly decided to cease the elections, APC say we don't agree, because all evidence we commercial say APC win the election. So we get forget the intervention of the international community, we come and then decide to bring the factions together. On the part of the SLPP, then we get the chairman, Dr. Gaima, and the members that they represent the party, the government. And in the part of the APC, we get Dr. Kefala Maya, and members of the APC, where they represent the APC party. And when it's done, that engagement day, and then the international community. That's why it is called tripartite, because the 3 institutions that come together to form the committee, and then they call it the tripartite committee. And when the committee sit down, the 2 chairmen them from the government and the opposition, they agree to divide the group into 3 sections. Then we get the legal part, where SLPP get their own representatives. Then we get the one that we look at the electoral part, the election management, where the one that we headed by, from we own side, and Dr. Richard Conte, and from the legal side, the lawyer Boniface, the head down there. And then we also get, we install it and when we look at the administrative side. So when they sit on a committee, they decide, say, waiting at the problem. Waiting SLPP, they try to amend the first section of the Constitution and section 32. 32.3. And what did 32.3 say? Now the base Constitution, the original Constitution, it says, the members of the Electoral Commission shall be appointed by the President after consultation with leaders of political parties. We all will remember, say, when President Bio appoints Kone as Electoral Commissioner, he not consult with any political party. He take a unilateral decision for appoint Chief Electoral Commissioner. So that's where the problem began. I tell the problem it became. We begin to see the dishonesty from that point. So when the tripartite committee sit down, they say no, we don't want this again. The president not go just sit down, use his own discretion. The committee decide for use the Kenya and the South African model. When they use that model, they bring a recommendation 36 of the tripartite agreement say we forget to search a nominating committee. Well, this search and nominating committee for be a body which will comprise of all walks of life. In this search and nomination committee, what the committee look at and waiting and copy from best practice, now that we want to get a credible process in the election. We want to make sure that the people of this country, their voice they now who will manage the elections of this country. So here's the search and nomination committee. In this committee, they agree say member of interreligious council. We get an interreligious council that this country. The committee agrees say a member from the interreligious council. But when the SLPP they propose now, they say one person from interreligious community, not the council. So in other words, they can take anybody from anybody where they feel say in a religious person. They can go take one imam. They can go take one pastor. They say it belongs, or one sheikh. They say it belongs. That is not what the recommendation says. We get a religious body, we call themselves interreligious council, and it's recognized by the people of this country. They say one legal practitioner who shall be a person qualified to hold office as a judge of the High Court of Sierra Leone. That was not in the agreement. So now the president can just sit down and say, okay, I get one person where don't qualify, don't practice law, so many years I can choose that. Well, get an association, the Sierra Leone Bar Association. Recommendation 36 say we forget a representative from the Sierra Leone Bar Association to represent this committee. And they also go for this new amendment say one person from civil society. They also say one person from the private sector, Labour Congress, or Employers Federation. So in essence, all waiting in states now, not so waiting the recommendations say. And for the one that will follow the privilege, the Attorney General was so deceitful, excluding himself or the government totally from this recommendation. For me, or for us as an APC, that's deceitful because the representative of government, the secretary to president, Dr. Gaima, was representing the government of Sierra Leone. So if you are coming now to present a bill, you can say now, oh, not the government, so now APC. something that all of us, APC and them agreed, you totally dismiss the fact say government is not responsible. And now, this such a nomination committee, the drafters of this recommendation, they say not to the president to appoint. But when they don't put at the constitution now, they say that the president will therefore appoint. The drafters of the recommendation, we suggest say, when the time reach, their institution here, the Bar Association will nominate one person and send the name to the president. The Labour Congress will nominate one person and send the name to the president. Because the reason why they want to do that, they want to ensure a credible process. And when they don't send their names here to the president will now send letters to the institution here, so say the committee now, then they form the committee with their recommendations here. Not to the president to appoint, that their institutions there to appoint. And when they don't appoint, this committee now, the Public Service Commission, now they go supervise this committee, now they go create office space for this committee. So if they want to get meeting, Public Service Commission will provide an office space, and they now go sit down and set up, make the committee work with no interference from government. The committee now will now vet, they will send out application, they will advertise the position, they will develop the criteria, the qualification, and all the terms of reference for others for the electoral commissioner and commissioners. So now that committee, they will sit down and advertise. And when they advertise, suitable Sierra Leoneans will apply. And when they apply, now that committee they for now vet them one day. When they don't vet them, then they shortlist 3 people. Now then 3 people there when they shortlist, then they send the names to president. At which time, president will now appoint from every shortlisted names they give. So if now the president, this bill, if we go through now, the president I will get to unpick who that they want for day. So they say who pays the piper, call the shot, eh? So if my president will appoint me now, my allegiance now, that's for the president today. So the process don't become flawed. Because the president will appoint me. So my allegiance now what the president wants now to make it do, now they do. So we are saying no to that. The FPC is saying, let us stick by waiting the recommendation say. If we stick by waiting the recommendation say, then we are home and guide. We want to ensure say, we get transparent, free, credible election. We want to get credible Sierra Leoneans. Not to anybody will get party. Well, everybody that they choice for joint party, but not to visibly somebody will visibly card carrying member. Everybody knows say Conan was a card carrying member of the SLPP. Then you go select them or you nominate them without recourse to other political parties. You go nominate them, you say na him when you know say na party person for can lead this country election. And we see when they happen, we see the disaster we happen. Blatant abuse of the constitution, blatant abuse of the rights of the people of Sierra Leone. The people who wake up 5 in the morning for go line up for votes for the candidates of their choice, the person where they want for being elected as their president, the person they want for being elected as the members of parliament, the person they want for being elected as their councillor. Before they run for council election, they don't announce a winner. Unprecedented. 60%, when 20% of the country has not been counted. So again, the APC party not opposed to this. We want the right thing to be done. We don't want to make them secure for fix their own convenience. And we want, they're not being sincere. But in this process, this is the people's constitution. Sovereignty belongs to the people. The people of Sierra Leone, and they get rights to this. You cannot alter some section of this, particularly section 108, without recourse to the people of this country. This constitution is the people's constitution. If you make any change, you get to go back to the people. And the APC supports any change where they in line with the recommendation where the APC did not attend their signature. So I thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Okay. As you know, very clearly, they don't highlight the main areas where we don't begin this concern. I mean, the whole idea of the tripartite and the agreement for national unity for these problems, not so for create more problems. When all we see the complications will be the get even over agreeing on a simple definition of consultation. Everybody get your way where the interpreting consultation mean as far as they relate to the appointment of electoral commissioners. And that made the report be make their recommendations there, but then we get clear where will the appoint people to that commission a day, and also for them to reduce the absolute power when the presidency gets or when the executive gets over the appointment of the electoral commissioners. So we're not going to get recommendations when we get to address the one day, we come again, we tweak their recommendations then for the president the same powers or even more power than the one we get currently. I will briefly with next speaker, but before I do that, I want to quickly recognize the Diaspora 6 Region Publicity Secretary, Comrade Ibari, Edea Utwi, and also Comrade Mikhailo Kurma, who is a strong member of the publicity department and party. Next, we will hear from Dr. Kefala Mara. He was, of course, a member of the Select Committee during the negotiations that led to the agreement for national unity, and he was also the co-lead for the tripartite committee that represented the APC party, the 7 people that were representing me, and one of the people that really fully involved, with the negotiations and how we reach for get the report we will get. He will speak to us about the spirit behind the recommendations of the tripartite report. And also, yes, ladies and gentlemen, corporate all, let me welcome the substantive National Deputy Chairman, but also now acting as the National Chairman of the All People's Congress, Comrade Alhaji Usman Fodi Al-Saleh. Welcome, sir. So I will now bring in Dr. Kefala Mara, who will speak to us about the spirit behind the recommendations and the deviations from the recommendations and staggering of terms where you see at the proposed amendments. Dr. Kefala Mara.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. I want to join previous speakers but tell everybody thank you, and I want to stand on the existing protocol so that we don't waste time. Come with them. The country today at a crossroad, and I want to draw everybody's attention, no matter which political party you is, but let you realize and appreciate this particular point today. We all therefore open eyes, we all therefore show concern, and we all therefore support the reform process. And they say so because of the background to all of this. I get a lot for saying, but I think I will not say as much as I was saying now during the last press conference. Today, we get honorable members of parliament, that are the APC members of parliament, where we host this special press conference. So I will only speak to wetin dem ask me or talk to. Dem say make I shout una the spirit or wetin inform, wetin have been the reason for some of the recommendations dem will make, and wetin I will take as to whether government really make their turn recommendations into law as we been advised or as we been recommend, or whether dem tweak am for serve dem own purpose. I wan tell una say key areas dem dey of concern, and one of them my sister don talk to. They don share that with una. The next one wey I go talk to now are the census. My big brother Chief Locus don discuss who side dem dey, but something dey wey I wan for share with una as to why we dey who side we dey on the census. You know, before the 2023 elections, government been conduct wetin dem call midterm census, wey we not ever experience in our country. What you know na census every 10 years. When dem do that census, the whole world say the reports wey dem present get problems. So when we say so, dem say okay, dem go look at the 2015, just as Brother Loku said. When all that thing they use for manage and manipulate the 2023 elections. I wonder we know that after census, the results when they come out of the census, then government they use for draw up boundaries, for allocate seats, and for do plenty things around politics, as well as how for distribute and share resources across the country. So we say, because of what they do 2021, I hope you are listening. Say this time, if we conduct census, we will not say SLPP, we will not say the government, we say any government. If we conduct census, that now after 10 years, the result of that census, that now the report, for be ready 2 years before the next election. So that we will sit down around the table as institutions, as politicians, for work in parliament, for all those who surrounding the election. You know what they do? I would recommend and so they do it, and so they put on the law. You go and say they do well, but they not do well. That's tell me what they do. Because the last 10-year census have been 2015. The next census for don't take place last year, 2025. Then delay the process. So 2025 passed. Now 2026. So that when the report of this particular census come out, we don't go meet that 10-year, that 2-year deadline. That 2-year threshold will be missed. So if we say no, this is wrong, then we will say we will see all go back to 2021. I hope you get me. When I get me. Yes. So they accept the recommendation, but they miss the deadline and they do it deliberately. Because they want to use the manipulated census result as they been do before for determining the next electoral process. So we as a political party therefore take a political decision on that. But that rests with the leadership. We hope to see very soon the leadership will guide me as to what could be the steps we will take. But around this census, we allow me way down to waiting my brother, the National Publicity Secretary, to make a just give una feel of waiting they shout about the district center. He did a wonderful presentation on Kwenadugu then. I just want to share a few things with you now on that. Before we create or split Kwenadugu into 2 districts, that's now Kwenadugu and Falaba. Kwenadugu alone will constitute 1/5 of the land area of the country. That now, if he shapes alone into 5, Kwenadugu alone are 1 portion, 1 of 5. And he been getting any chiefdom, we been big past Gambia district. Remember one chief, the big past Gambia district, as well as Fujian. The distance between Kabbalah and Kubola over the report now 110 miles. For common Kubola go Yarwadu, no road, no day. You just go inside Kono from Kubola. You drive, you go Combine there. From Combine there, you go Bunduya. From Bunduya, you go Gwetima. From Gwetima, they enter Yarwadu inside Konadugu district again. I hope I get it. So if you do PHUs, you do health facilities, and certainly plenty communities they suffer. That's not some of the reasons why Nipindi or split that district. But waiting they do so now, it don't make any sense. The next thing, when they do this work na the tripartite, we will get experts them with we, where they guide me. Elections experts from all over the world. We get one where they advise you on election laws. We get another on institutions. We get another on elections. We get another for voter registration. We get another for result management. We get all the experts there and they guide the committee as to the work. Then take a look at the threshold where we get for win presidential elections. They say 55% is too high. You know the no side. So now adjust that. We say okay. Based on their advice, we agree say for we presidential elections, the first round, the first ballot for make somebody win, you forget 50% plus 1. That anything above half of the people that will vote. Then in other play, you forget at least 25%. Now half of the districts of the country. When I get to a testing. For win presidential election, we don't know where we get to that 55%. Because you know the no side. So one for conform with what they happen at the rest of the world. But no, we just say 50 plus 1. But say get half of the people will vote plus just 1 on top or 2. No. You say 50 plus 1, then if you score at least 25% of vote, now half of the district and the country. That's so we agree. We, government, development partners, on the advice of partners, with experts, we put on the report. What we get now at the bill, now that commit somebody win the presidency, first round for just a simple majority. That simple majority, not to half or not to 50 plus 1. So let's say if now 6 or 7 candidates, the first candidate who can first is score 30% only. But because of that simple majority, don't be president. No. So now so they put out. Plus, you forget 20%. Now 2/3 of the district. So you will begin to see the intent of them and they are. So we rely on the MPs for make sure waiting and say so not pass. That we go back to waiting the tripartite committee recommend the 50 plus 1 plus 25% and half of the district. The next one was the electoral system we will get at the country. We APC say na constituency-based elections, so that everybody will be represented, every community will be represented in parliament as well as in local councils. It no matter which political party, but the community will be represented. Then say na PR, proportional representation. We go up, we stand up, we no agree. We and them no agree. So the expert then say, okay, if we are not agree, what we go do? So well, this make we ask the people of Sedalo, let them decide. Not to be that this open for decide for them because this is so topical, it's so critical. So for engage the public. What in them do, then recruit consultants and begin go around the country and not talk to them as a party. But the truth is, even where them they go around the country, they not get what they want. Because he just offer one way say no. Now, constituency-based elections for one. In fact, some of the chiefs say the young areas don't even get MPs. Una way they have to attest to that. That we get plenty communities, plenty areas in this country will not get MPs. Some small communities they get more than 3 or 4 MPs. It's not right. That's not a proper representational politics. That is not how we do it. Now all the civil society organizations in the country come together, they discuss the same thing, then vote. 57.9% of all of them agree say na first past the post, that na the constituency-based election. Forget. Them party man not listen to anybody. Then just go ahead, remove wetin dey na the constitution wey talk about constituency-based election, and put PR. Then they say the kind proportional representation we go get na parliament dey for decide am. No, you don already talk say this football match na stadium, national stadium to dey play. Elect to now sound put the goal post. That is not right. So what to every Sierra Leonean, not to consider no more and listen to them. Not to consider no more and look at the process. Now all them of them voice in space for saying no to this. Very important. To continue to go down the PR, plenty institutions or communities will be way not go. And now you go understand the rationale behind, you go see the trajectory as to how they go. Manipulate census and end up for manipulate PR. And you see that they have no more A, B, ABC. You dey sleep, open your eye and wake up. I hope when I get it. So we are saying no to that. Now, we look at what happened before 2023 election. Then they just sit down and make all the decisions for purchase ballot boxes, for do voter ID where nobody know the PVC in face properly, for go for ballot papers, and just do things on the own behind the scenes. They're not transparent. We don't know what's going to happen. So recommend say, make we do what's going to happen in other economy. On the PPLC, that is the Political Parties Liaison Committee, the operational committee of ECSL, who started the student and make decisions, who say the chairman of ECSL will continue for chair, but then the 2 largest political parties will nominate 2, one from each side, let them become co-chairs. So when they sit down at that committee, the decisions they will make will be transparent, will be inclusive. You understand, eh? Them party man not touch down it, they don't delay that not happen. It's alright, they will not accept that. The next one, we I will talk to now the divergent reports. We been get concerns as a party that the way the Italian 2023 result was wrong. We went in the McKinney and did not know say by the time as they bring Falaba and Kwenadugu ballot boxes at the place, before they even open and begin processor, Coneto announced result. And we don't say happen soon at plenty places. Not so. So we as a committee say no. If we don't agree on this in the divergent report, we make it clear that Tale not for take place again at the region, it for take place at the district. So if put for vote, let them count and put for. If Cambia vote, let them count and Cambia. They don't mean for take Cambia carrying a box and bring all inside put for. When I get to say, so that's not the recommendation. The good news is the international community don't help. They don't bring experts. They don't work on that. They don't provide advice to ECSL. We wait for let ECSL share that report between now. The other recommendation, now voter registration. We say, and this is clear, NCRA data, that is Civil Registration Authority, The electoral data will then get me and una waiting and get for with it. Then I get for take sent to ECSL. Now that agency said they don't get about 97% of the population of this country in their database. But honestly, when ABS take a look at when they register for APC, plenty not get national ID. So we say fine, when I share out with this data, we wait and let them publish that data and make us see. But you not happy. They therefore deduplicate. We therefore make sure them audit that voter register as per standard. So the experts then don't come, they don't do the study, they don't provide recommendations to ECSL, that's if they with ECSL. We wait for them and share that with me, make we work together to ensure that we result management and we voter registration process for meet international standards. That they don't delay. The man that done the report will just wait as soon as possible to make them shout. But today they're not communicating beyond that. Next, we look and say, ECSL they get so much powers. They say they're independent. We agree we are independent. But because the resources we are using to come up from the consolidated revenue fund, therefore, we are subjected to Parliament for let Parliament to pursue our activities. So therefore, we get a special standing committee in Parliament where we scrutinize what the ECSL they do, so that ECSL could be responsible to Parliament, will report to Parliament. Once they're subjected to that, it will be good. Plus, the report of the Auditor General on ECSL, I think we Parliament forget the right to vote. So, for set up a standing committee in Parliament, dedicated committee for elections. Not just ECSL, but all the body the way they manage elections, who are responsible for elections, therefore be answerable to this particular committee. Pamulem will leader, Honorable Abdul don't write to the speaker for make them set down the office. They do not set up, they will not come back to it. So now to see how they manage the cherry pick, and they pick and do waiting and think to say will help them for manipulate the elections, and left waiting and think to say no good for them. We will make the whole election process transparent. I will go on and on and on. But I just need to say go find make I speak to them one day so we all will understand as how things are going. So from Musa Day, the APC, as well as the rest of the public, will now understand, say, the whole electoral reform process, whether it goes inside the constitutional reform or is under threat, is being manipulated, and government not always sincere when it comes to the implementation of anything. It don't mean say good things are not there at the proposed. Some good things are there. For example, that to forgive opportunity to people in the diaspora for vote. That will give opportunities to prisoners as per international standard for vote and presidential elections. That it will see how they affect with diaspora brothers and sisters for the way for allow them to participate. And that the disabled will be given opportunity for making vote for them, let them be represented in councils and in parliament. All the good things that today. But waiting government don't do in the way they don't handle and manipulate some of the recommendations they will be made. They're not good for the democracy, they're not good for the health of this country. So before close, I have a few things for say. Everything I say, I want to take I'm very serious. Because I don't be part of this process for some time now. Now me present on behalf of the party when we go for the talks now with money. Honorable Abdullah goes 3 years of paper there for me. We put together 10 good areas, 10 good points where government use for reach the 2023 elections. And at the time when I say what you present that day, we see the signs there as they go. Therefore, everybody will wake up. grassroots members of the party una wake up. We don begin get conversation with the National Publicity Secretary for organized one-day engagement with the APC media. We hope that this will happen soon, so that we meet our practitioners to understand what exactly we mean and the recommendation, and what will be the new role to ensure that we push this process forward. And also the leadership of the party always stand by we as we work. But I want to say something special. And all of them take that serious. I see, not just now, not just before. We talk about what happened in the case of Lara Telopia and not what happened. We agree. But in a few days engagement with the members of parliament, and just when the party gave me the opportunity for serve as chief negotiator, it means engagement with them in parliament, and waiting we agreed with them. The committee then set up for review all the recommendations and the tripartite committee, and the work with me and the team for ensure that we take a look at this proposed constitutional reform bill and how they don't conduct themselves in this 1 or 2 weeks where it just passed. Me one tell when I say I get confidence in the members of parliament. And I tell now why. Circumstances can change human behavior. So now already when I say I left Paribu, when Paribu left, if you look at it, it makes sense. The same letters what we use for spell Satan, S-A-T-A-N. If you take the N at the end, you bring them at the third position, you get Santa Claus. What the Hebrew is for Christmas. So you don't need to take extra letters, and the same letters, by the way you engage the company human beings, by the way we interact, by the confidence you exude, to a very large extent, we will do business the same way. So for every party member, if you know you MP, be a banana, say Papa, may I get confidence in you. If you want, make people know you well. You say, I trust my MP, APC. If you want, you get the cap, you wear a good and I trust APC MP. Our MPs will defend us. If we now organize gala for them, the APC musicians will now do song for them. God battle them. Trust me, that day when they will and they will stand together. Because once upon a time we trust them. So me, I ask everybody, God continue for their faith and confidence. God supports them. God continue for their around them. What we want to be better. And we'll vote for we, and we'll stand by we, and then don't demonstrate that to me in the engagement and conversations with them. Finally, the party leadership don't decide for me to get a mammoth meeting, a big meeting at Atuga Stadium on Saturday. The party leadership know waiting for you for leadership. We need to take a coordinated position on some of them in there. A peaceful assembly will go in numbers and listen to the leadership. Let the leadership say, you know what, now so government don't do for opposition at this. I ask the international community for what to expect of them. And I urge everyone, whether you're in a district executive or region, or you're a member of one of the organs, now we all come together and support the leadership to ensure that we get voting parliament for we when they do it. The referendum they come. I read some sides say government ready for fund the referendum. The census they come. Government don't fund majority of the things that we for do for people get the census. So you ask yourself, this government when they pay salaries until after 40 days. You ask yourself, this government where they spend nearly 40% of the revenue, domestic revenue where they collect for just service domestic and foreign debt, external debt. This government will not able to keep the schools together. This government will not able to give 1 cent for a whole year to all the local councils in the country. And that same government, they put money together for fund heavily the census and the referendum where they come. You don't open the eye, you don't read between the lines. I want to think and think deep. And they say all of this because I've been part of the process. And I know that we shall be not to the right place. Government need to do the right thing. But to all get the role for play. I tell you, thank you for the attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Falamara, members of the Fourth Estate, the North Sea. Don't listen to the presentation. At the end of the conference, I will get a chance to ask questions. We all will ask questions, but those to the members of Parliament, the executive of the party, they meet with una all immediately after this press conference. Not in this hall, but in the party office. All MPs. So they are not wait. The one they will not come in, don't call them when they come around. I mean, don't just say one thing. We all need for wake up. Somebody just send a post to me. Say they try to clarify. They ask me if not true. So tell some of them I go know. They say they don't increase petrol from 25. So the government they put out a release. So let una see no more. So they put out a press release where they want to increase their price. But this now I'm surprised that they surprise me now. So tell we go wake up one morning, they surprise me back. So these are the things where they talk about why we protect our responsibility as citizens. For make sure we address these issues they are so and we stand up for this country and we stand up for what give me rights as citizens. And the Constitution I give me a you right. We not for just let a few make how they want them because when they say it will satisfy them at this moment. Not considering how much impact they will get from me and negatively. But now we continue with the press conference. And I now invite one of the finest and the youngest and the sharpest brains who will get on this country. Very young man, when at a young age, they don't set plenty records, they don't make history, they don't contribute a lot, not only to APC as a political party, but to Salon as a country at a young age. And he can't talk to me, a lawyer, a politician, a lawyer, and he can't talk to me on the legal implications of critical amendments where government proposed to the 1991 Salon Constitution. And no less a person, but his brother and a comrade, Usman Akhtar Tibo. I go down and bless me.
Yesterday, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice will lay before the House of Parliament a bill we call the Constitution of Sierra Leone Amendment Act 2025. Day before yesterday, inside Parliament, we've been able to call the pre-legislative hearing with the same Attorney General through the leadership in the Legislative Committee of Parliament. We present and explain the provisions and the rationale behind this bill to we the members of parliament. Maybe to some of una, it is to knowledge, but to other people, maybe the ordinary people, the APC people, the people of Sierra Leone, sometimes not to everybody understand. But why this happened is because by the Constitution of Sierra Leone, particularly Section 108(1), any law for amend the Constitution of Salone, the Parliament get responsibility for do that. And that is why, even though the Attorney General and the team, they don't put together that document in the form where they want to put them, they get to bring them back to the House of the People. Because Parliament, we represent our interests and our voices and our aspirations. By the same law, it says before they do the first reading for them in Parliament, they don't publish this bill in 2 gazettes, 99 days apart, before they bring a kind of Parliament. Whether they do this or they not do one, we don't start for us to the government printers for make them tell we. Because as a customary or as of right, every gazette where they do in the kind of Parliament. But to we own surprise, we not see them gazettes then later we pigeonhole them in Parliament. So the first step we will forget and for make we ensure so that 2 gazettes, the 2 editions of the gazette, when they publish this bill, then they actually publish it. If they not publish on there, and then the best they begin. However, we want to make it very clear, not just as members of Parliament, but as a party, that we are committed to the constitutional advancement of the laws of Sierra Leone. This not starts now, but we know say from the Constitutional Review Committee headed by Justice Coward, where we've been put together, we've been getting the intention for change the Constitution of Sierra Leone. Not only because we feel say the 1991 Constitution foolish, but not because we feel say after so many years, times have changed, and we need to make amendments to that Constitution there. We've not been done the process, but we get white paper then what we do, and we will not be able to do a referendum because of the thing that will be happen, the Ebola, the this, the that. We were constrained to do a referendum. But the APC government led by President Kuruma was determined to move this nation forward constitutionally. In the same way, after the chief elections in 2023, and we believe and agree say we will for achieve electoral justice now through a tripartite process, we will lead to the 80 recommendations. This has been the other way for make we overturn the thief with 2023 election. So one for say recommendations we get to do with legal reforms, particularly amendment of the Constitution. We are not against it. And if na in the inside this bill, when they go to Parliament, we go look at them as recommendations when they bring to Parliament. We all know say they call their recommendations, and not only Parliament na in get the right and power for make laws for Sierra Leone. Not to tripartite committee, not to CRC committee, Constitutional Review Committee. What in this mean? If any change there inside it, even the tripartite report, if things are there inside it, where we feel say not reflective of the aims and aspirations and desires of the people who they represent, we will team up against them. They don't bring these instruments before we in a parliament. And we, as a proactive caucus in a parliament, the APC caucus, through the leader of parliament, it is set up a subcommittee for go and look at this bill clause by clause, in tandem with the tripartite report and also with the report and white papers of the Justice Edmond Kawan of blessed memory, a report. We don't put a position together, we don't discuss it with the party and the legal team, and we don't come together with one position when I anger for lead the arguments of the APC in the parliament, both at the legislative committee and when we come to the plenary and the well of parliament. At the same time, I anger for lead the way how we communicate as a party, whether as parliamentarians or whether as a party structure across all media, as well as to people left at all levels of the party organization. Like I said, along with this bill and we don't go throughout. The APC is not against the improvements of the laws of Sierra Leone, but we are against any law where anybody wants to make for benefit himself as a party and not a law for the interest of the entire nation. We will resist it. We will resist it today. We will resist it tomorrow, and we will resist it forever. We are a party that represents the people and the interest of the people, not just the APC. Now, in the binding thing, we hold the APC together, and this is not the philosophy of the APC. Inside this constitution, he said, I want to make particular reference to one major thing where people don't make reference to Aya. The method of electing the president of Sierra Leone. By this constitution, section 1083, subsection 3, he said if you want to amend an entrenched clause, then a clause will nobody know for change, you for go to referendum. That all man will register for vote, therefore put them before them back for let them vote for this constitution or this amendment. But this particular one, we get to do with the way how we elect the president, not to entrench clause. So that means there's no need for carry back to the people there for make them do the amendments. So within we in a parliament, we discuss them, and if they get 2/3 vote in favor, then it can pass on to law and send them to the president for what he call assent. This section where they want for amend. In the Constitution 1991, it said that 55% that you need for making cross the threshold for being elected president of Sierra Leone. This, I don't want to talk my personal opinion, but I feel say not be unfair. Because of a population of 8 million, and only 3.2 million valid votes. So even half of the population, not even they vote in the first place. For make President's bill getting 56% where they get, because not only get, he only gets about 1.5 million or so people voting for him. How can you say you have the legitimacy of the majority of the people of this country if now only 1.5 million or thereabout now he vote for you of a population of 8.something million? So that just to show you say, even the people that will think for put 55% at the time, they're not crazy. But like how Dr. Mara said, looking at trends across the world, the tripartite report reduced until 50% plus 1, plus 20 plus 25% in half of the districts of this country. They don't tell you now what they do, and then The Secretary General also will allude to that. They say a simple majority of the votes cast, of the valid votes cast, plus 2/3 of the districts will against Nasir. 2/3 of the districts, let's say we get 16 districts for now. 2/3 of them districts are 10. 10. You only need to get 10 plus 20%, na 10 of them districts. Last show you what happened in 2023. We make the mess where they do, where we show the whole world. Say even the thief where they thief, it don't make sense to them separate thief the thief. So now they want to find a way for cleaner, so that 2028 they go thief the election without people asking questions, and they go legally justify it. 2023 elections, and they read for the districts there, where they get at least 20%. Districts there within a William strongholds. Now we read all, let you know the total number. Kailaun district, they give themselves 96%. Kelema district, 94.9% to 95%. Kono district, they give themselves the majority. Bombali, they give themselves 6.7, when at 7%. Tonkolili, they give themselves 14%. Koinadugu, they give themselves 30%. Falaba, they give themselves 50.7, when at 51%. Cambia, 34%. Karine, 26%. Potloko, 35.8 when at 36%. Western Urban, 42%. Western Rural, 45%. Moyamba, 78%. Both, 95%. Puchehun, 93%. Both, 87%. When you constitute districts where they get over 20%, now 14 districts. 14 districts. That means that light number will give themselves 56%. They don't need for do them again. The next election, they can give themselves 40%, or they give themselves 45%. Then give 30%, then give XYZ political party 6%, then they win at 13 districts. Or they give themselves 20%. Now we don't stronghold them. Like Cambia, like Karine, like Potloko, like Western area rural, Western area urban. Then give themselves them one day. Then they win the election. Then people have to say we fool them. Until they get posted where they talk, say we are on progressive. They get posted where they talk, say everybody that APC na fool. We want to make them know, say we know the fool where they think, say the fool where they paper. And we're not ready for that. We're not ready for that. There are many other things where other people don't allude to. I'm not going to talk about them. But like I talked earlier, say section 1083 talks say if they touch any entrenched clause inside the constitution, they need for care and go to referendum. How they don't tie themselves, they balance stay. They get two clauses the way they put inside this bill. Section 85 of the constitution, where get for do with the dissolution of parliament. Section 85 say parliament for dissolve 5 years after it first sit down. And 87 say 90 days after parliament dissolved, they will hold a general election for elect the members of parliament. This means and this we don't use. after Parliament lock, 3 months after Parliament lock, dem for don call election for elect a new president of this nation. Now, if you want for pull down day, because wetin we dey hear na dem want for pull down wey the world don show dem that say you cannot do this without going to the people. We don dey hear rumor say dem want for pull am inside this bill so dem no go for referendum. But wetin dem dey fail for realize na the moment dem pull this, e dey affect some of the clause wey dem bring. For example, one clause wey dem say 5 years after every election, the second weekend or the second Saturday in November, dem for hold presidential election. E tie with 85 and 87. So if you pull 85 and 87, you get to go back and go pull that clause the way you put for the date for the election. And then no one for do it. So let them know say you tamper with that too. You get to tamper with plenty other things within other parts inside the constitution. We want to make them know say we know. And we want to inform una. Now make we dey talk and agree. So una go tell the people there now. Because you are ambassadors for go and tell the people say this thing wey they want for being so is not correct. And for let them do it, they got to come back to una. We not accept any bypass. If they talk about the legal implications of this without going in depth into the provisions of every section within inside, because boku thing there we will not agree with. But I want for before I end, I just remember this. The PR system, we don't talk about that. And we will continue for talk how we there against that. Because tripartite report say, therefore consult. Therefore do consultation broadly. You sit down to yourself, you talk to yourself, you say you don't consult. When civil society organizations sit down and tell you, say no, we don't want that. The traditional heads, paramount chiefs, don't tell you, say, no, we don't want them. We don't explain to you how places have been excluded from party office now. Say, go and party on a shell. We don't get nobody where they represent. But you go down the constituency of Usa Adena Moriton, you get 2 members of parliament. Look me host, look him host. You go Wamley, you get Tawa, you get nice guy. You go Wilberforce, you get best and you get your SLP MP. While all the other places here not get people there for represent them. But we don't talk about this PR and how we are against them. But I also want to make them know, I want to draw their attention. The thief when they want for thief through the census. They don't delay the census in 2026 thinking that we not go meet up the 2 years, 24 months for make the established constitution, for make them do demarcation before the 2028 election. But we want to remind them, say, by Daniel drafting, they say decennial census. Decennial census. For the one they will not understand that big word they or that big expression they. Decennial census and census what they do after every 10 years. We want to make them know say we know say midterm census is different from decennial census. That census when they do 2021, when a midterm census by Daniel draft, it cannot be used for demarcate districts. It cannot be used for create new districts. The Bandajuma and Panguma the one for talk about, it cannot be used. The only decennial census we get and we will be valid before the 2028 election and the 2015 census, decennial census result. And we are ready to stand by that. And we want to make them know say, we know say the last decennial census as alone and the 2015 census results. We thank you very much. God bless you all.
want to say plenty thank you to Honorable Usman Abdul Zimbo for such an eloquent presentation and for reminding me of the tricks of this wicked government. The tricks and the games of this wicked government. The wicked government will not rig election. The wicked government will not rob the people of their representation. And this same wicked government will impose extreme hardship on the people of this country. But they not stop only at that. They also have continue for playing the dirty games where they played in the last election for figure out a way, for maneuver and manipulate the way for stay in governance. And Honorable Usman that we say we will resist that. Now we welcome to the next speaker, the next panelist. We will talk about the PR system and how it stands against the first past the post. This honorable leader will talk eloquently on that, and I want to give the platform for do that. And that leader, the honorable Aaron Aruna Kuruma, who is the deputy leader too of the opposition parliament.
Osei, Owei. I think say most of what I get for talk, we eloquent panelists with Dr. Mara, of course, to go touch a little on the topic where we just to make a presentation of when appear as against the first part of the post. We get a bill where they before we, and I would say properly so because they don't lay on the table of parliament for consideration. We contain a clause where means a part of the clause where they put for you always specific to PR government they propose say the only means of elections of members of parliament will be only PR. When we say even the existence or the provisions in the extant constitution of 1991, when at 38, we talk say every constituency will return a single member of parliament, and 38A we make provision wey we talk one as a circumstantial law. In other words, na a law wey only dey take effect in an event 38 not able to take effect. And the condition precedents are very clear. Now only a situation where government not able for own census, and government not get maybe they create a situation of war like it happens in 1996. We almost in 1996 were in a war situation, and the immediate census at that time was in 1985. When we say the 10 years validity of that census, if it don't lapse, and as a result, there was no way they will use the 1985 census to make it be a means of boundary limitation for the 1996 constitution. As a result, they began to use a national PR. When we say every party participated, they get seat based on the national percentage when they get. In 2002, the same thing they used PR because we are still in the war situation. And the immediate census, there was in 1985 again. So as a result, they introduced what they call the district block system. But because the only means where we determine the population or representation now by population where national statistics they issue. Because at that time there was no credible data, that was why in all these states in this country they shaped 8 districts. That's why as small as Bond was, where even you only issue from them, it populated past Bond district. Bond district they get 8 constituencies, the same as Western area urban, the same as Kotoko, the same as other areas. When you multiply and make after that parliament, and the 112 constituencies every day, plus the 12 provinces, it sum up to 124 constituencies. We don't do PR, but as of 2007, Unona say we don't do census in 2004, sorry. So we get credible data wey of course na dey use now for urban limitation for determine wetin for be the outcome of the 2007 election, and of course wey we also use for 2012 elections as well. So we don test all the situations na make the constitution make provisions for both in a situation where there should be PR and where there should not be PR. And my man get one provision. They say it is not broken, why fix it? Nothing not broke. We don't test PR, we don't test first party post. And we know the advantages and disadvantages. The core of representation or the core of parliament is representation. That's why in responsibility as members of parliament, apart from lawmaking, na that of representation. Anytime when you not get mandate from the people, then you are not a member of parliament. So if you have a system where a political party now will determine representation rather than the people, then it question the representation of that particular representative. Many arguments they know the advance say how PR it less violence. First party post it promotes violence. But we all know the evidence. The activities leading to 2023 elections. When we get PR, they never go to party office. When there is PR leading to 2023 elections, they burn to party office now go. When they say na PR, we all know what happened at Prison District, where whole political parties participate we are just they prevent them from observing rules. That never happened in any time of election period. We see what happened at Abuja again, where whole set of hoodlums they make video and threaten say if you flag where I go there, they don't make roadblocks and they ready for pass continue time if you go there. So therefore, me believe say PR, no PR or PR or first party post, not to determine whether violence or violence will be. Violence or non-violence it will be determined by stronger institutions. When you get strong institutions, when you get institutions where not encourage impunity, trust me, there will be no violence. And that's why we have record that when we conducted the 2020 election, that in 2020 election, it be one of the least violent road election. Yes, it was the first party post election. Simply because there were institutions where they got people to vote. Then the talk say PR, it included against inclusivity. Where the fact and to the public say this is completely erroneous, it's fallacious, and now you don't merit or legs for stand up based on the available facts. As we speak, in the 2012, from 2007, 2012 and 2018 elections, every person in this country was represented by a member of parliament irrespective of the political party. It doesn't matter which party, whether it could be independent, it could be SLPP, it could be APC. But what was assured of the people is that you are assured of being represented by a person. And that is what PR has eroded this particular PR when they introduced. With this PR, talk account on Timbo say, for instance, like in Port Novo, there are critical areas where it's so crucial that today they have been totally excluded from parliamentary representation. Areas like Mande, where in our 2068, they're not the MP today, not from the APC, not from the SLPP. When you go presidency, Samuel and Alosa, they don't get MP, whether independent, whether APC or SLPP. When you turn on Masheka, when I present 72, the same situation, they don't get one MP where they represent them. When you come now Moyaba, even the district secretary, when I present when I'm Moyaba junction and Moyaba town district, and Moyaba town as a district secretary, they don't get representation at parliament. Instead, they go cluster. Now we change Usai, now a very small constituency where they get 2 MPs, we will get 1 APC and that's of 1 SLPP. In the first party post, there was no way the people of Moyamba could be left out without representation. Again, when it can happen, when more glaring, the fact of the matter is, just after Bremale, almost 10 you come to not from party, take down book fees, no side, no the other side, we get parliamentary representation. And just within next time there, we get 9 constituencies wey totally excluded from parliamentary representation. For instance, we get constituency 117. We know say this na constituency wey we get MP. Constituency 118, this na constituency wey we get MP. Constituency 119, constituency 120, constituency 121, 122, 123, 124, and even 126. We saw this one at Bukri. They not get parliamentary representation. So if we get a system, whether they promote any question of a PR being inclusive or be more representative, this particular prevailing evidence don't show say this cannot stand the test of time because we don't fall short of representation and you don't know thousands of people from adequate parliamentary representation. Again, then they say people with PR they spend less than by elections. When to me, we go say yes, then you get savings. But it's a savings for government and not the people. The essence of government is to serve the people. Whatever you spend on the people is not costly. Whatever you spend on the welfare or on the representation of the people, you don't forget price, it will be priceless. He say 1 million or 1 billion euros. You know the MP for don't spend it, that MP that to get a parliamentary representation. Now the various areas they wait, they not get MPs. Every MP waits now, so they do one school, one bridge, one project, one from one community to another. When you quantify, even 5 times more than what government they say because of the absence of by-election. And when this by-election, when they run away, no they kill. Yes, you go say by-election because they go just out one person where they are the first from the list they count them. But it is, like I say, it's just for the government, not for the people. You know, they give representation for the people and where get the vacancy anymore. Even the Speaker of Parliament, when he resigned for become Speaker, today because he don't become vacant, the people of one island don't go now without parliamentary representation because when they come out, the person the next on the list, they put an equation where MP already. So as I speak, the people of one island do not have a member of parliament. Is that democracy? Now, Plama, who say one MP died, when I'm honorable Moigua, when they elect, when he died, when they can't happen, when they say they replace her, not to that side, they go put MP. But for first party post, the people are sure of representation. It doesn't matter which party, but at every given time, there must be representation where we pay information to continue for a lay or take the price of the people in it. The same as I said, Lama, when he come out, now posting na other side, who say MP already, now they go take her. The most immediate case na that of Tonko Liba, where we honorable may so rest in perfect peace, honorable Anedura, where he died. After when he died, the vacancy upon a Tonko, in the first part the post, they don't come to elections and make sure say the people of Tonko get voice in the parliament. Instead, because of the present prevailing system, Usa come out na Mambo, where the say the people of Tonko they now go totally without parliamentary representation. And post-party post don't show say it promotes more diversity than PR in many forms. In the last parliament, we got almost every tribe represented in parliament. We have a member of parliament where they represent the Yalonkas, when are one of the most minority tribes in this country. When you go to Falaba, we get MPs where come out from the Kurankot tribe, we get the Yalonkas, we get the Kurankot, the Manigos, and even the Fulas. They were ably and adequately represented using the first party post. So then all the two tribes from Falaba that they represented in parliament. Does PR promote diversity? No. Based on the available fact, doesn't promote diversity. They will say they're going smaller parties. But the fact that they will not promote smaller parties, rather it gives smaller parties. For instance, in 2018, or even if you take for 2007, now 3 parties in our parliament. We get APC, we get SLPP, we get PMDC. When you go to 2018 election, we even get 2 more parties, and even independent, we get parliamentarians in our parliament. That tells you the beauty of democracy. That people can even choose as to whether they vote for an independent candidate or a political party candidate. So in an extent that we have three MPs who were independent MPs, 2 from Elau and 1 from Bujam. Now we get of course C4C, where we get 8 seats. We get NGC, where we get 4 from Gambia districts. And in that case, in fact, even the district town chairman, it was occupied by somebody, the NGC. That is what a good system. That was when we get first party group. But with this system now, I tell you, go and check the records. There is nowhere, no one where even the PMDC PMDC will win at any part of this country. The same for NGC, when we get the whole district council, when we dominate a district council, when we get 4 parliamentarians, they cannot even win a world election, not to talk about a parliament election. The same thing goes for C4C in Kono. For a party we dominate, they cannot even boast of 1 councillor as we speak. So that tells you every advantage necessary where person will propose for PR in not getting in any way for making liking now to the advantages of first party post. Probably the definition, the system they always say PR is inclusive. It's when one party like theirs can manipulate seats in their stronghold while preventing other parties from having one, such that they call inclusivity. Because the facts available here, when people read the fact, it shows say we get a 7% ago. It can't say if we go by the 11.something threshold, we are supposed to get a seat in more districts. But because of the no say PR, the only opportunity they avail is avail manipulative opportunity. You can manipulate and meander your way to get what you want as they want it. So as a result, they prefer PR, but if election, if democracy, we say a government of the people, for the people, and by the people, where the people for determine what they do, I think say, every indication also say, first party post is better. And that's why Reverend Committee was very clear. For let them go consult, do dialogue, for let them choose what can be preferred form of electoral process. And the choices were clear. From civil societies to permanent chiefs, from permanent chiefs to every major interest group, their voices were very hard and they presented a position. Say, PR no they promote inclusivity and so therefore people first part the post. But the minister was very much deceptive that even when he go to parliament, in the time for who say APR, na APC, na they don't propose am. In the Justice Kawan commission position and the big committee report. But at the time of why you also take one of the recommendations when we profile again and that same report, when talk say that for use the supreme executive authority of the president to be replaced with an executive authority. Instead of supreme executive authority, they will now be executive authority instead of chief executive authority, instead of supreme executive authority, so that we will reduce the powers of the president. Because you know say it's advantage them, it will make sure the president will become more autocratic than ever before they maintain that particular authority. So again, I want to tell Una, I say, then we start for toy and think say they are smart, but I want to tell them say we are smarter. Our leader has made our position very clear. We didn't have parliament for make laws. And that's why we now work out for listening during the pillage and even the tabling of the bill, because we are lawmakers, we are there to make laws. And we are ready to join them in making a fine law or fine laws that promote the well-being of Salem as enshrined in Section 73 of the Constitution. But I want to tell them, say, they cannot introduce a PR. They cannot introduce a PR without getting a two-thirds and leading to a referendum. You don't have to ask me how, because I will not tell you now. But when the time comes, we'll tell them that they cannot achieve a PR without we not get secure two-thirds majority, for which they cannot get, because by the composition of this parliament, even if they all vote for themselves, the parliament then vote for them. We two MP them, where we deny the party, decide for vote for them. They know they get the two-thirds. It means they still need 2 MPs there from the side. And at the time now for amendment of constitution, pursuant to section 108, that determination of that vote is an entrenched clause In other words, the manner of voting for an alteration or amendment of the constitution is different from how they vote for section 29(3) of the 1999 code when a state of emergency. It's different from section 79 when an elections of the speaker. It's different from most even the 1377 where we use for the determination of vote for Lara Tilopia or removal of judges as the case may be. The rules are there is a definite article which says the members of parliament. In other words, we always say the members of parliament here refers to 149. The 2 thirds of it means they forget 99.3. Now we must ask what about it. So we say 99 or 100, 9 will we say 9 will be the 2 thirds. And our hotel is say we are willing to cooperate. And so therefore they call on them for men and continue to make sure to continue deepen engagement. So that we will get a law where we will stand the test of time, where we will serve just APC, where we will serve just SLP, but rather a law where we will serve the people of this country. Lastly, I want us to say every advantage where they don't advance for PR, from violence to representation, from inclusivity to diversity, this PR where we don't support, it don't fall short of every standard. Of course, the 30% quota, it can be more assured in a first part debate than even PR. Because government can make policy and declare position for the gender set or gender contested constituencies. He will say that 001 normal number for contested. It means if I'm an independent candidate, now I'm for sale. If me an SLP, now I'm for sale. If me an APC, now I'm for sale. It's assured that whoever wins in that constituency should or would be a woman. It's assured. Unlike how it happens in the PR, where we get either so woman as MPs, because na PR system, like for example, supposed to get 2 MPs with a woman, or even for they never get 1 post with a woman representative, because they take 2 from APC. The next one instead of one woman, they make Falaba without a female representative. The same thing for some Pauline. We should say all the areas they never talk about 2 to 3 MPs, but because of the system where they use, it cannot be. So I have to tell them say if we use the first party post, it creates complete assurance for women to be more represented, even beyond the 30% as it were in 2018 to 2020 elections. But now they get 4 MPs in the parliament. It means even without PR, they have 40% without PR. Today they have been reduced to a mere 30%. So that tells you don't go only achieve 30% with the PR system. You can even achieve more without PR, as the case was for Kalam District. On that note, I want to thank Kuna and I want to call on the government saying we are willing for dialogue, collaboration to make a law where we will stand the test of time, where all man will own up and become a constitution of Sierra Leone rather than a constitution of the SLP. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I mean, how many times or how many ways we will explain to them people are saying they will do things in the interest of this country? How many ways and how many manners we will justify saying what they claim not get justification? How many ways and how many manners we will tell them say we are not demonstrate say we want to reduce violence by our actions, not by our words. How many ways and ways we will tell them say one, no single time not the owner don't condemn violence, owner they commit against the opposition. Lord, propose say na PR will prevent the violence, owner always they do against the opposition. How many ways you could tell them people have this? Let them show the love for this country. We want challenge them. Say all what they don't do is they come in prominence, they don't show love to this nation. Otherwise, they don't manage for showing. Say they always same way for their interest or hold on to power. When we make or cause them to do such an dishonorable thing for rig an election. One tell Honorable Haruna Kuroma to Deputy Leader, thank you very much for that presentation. So now we want to summarize everything. We want to bring all things together. And the person will do that, and not less a person but the leader of the opposition in this 6th parliament and a member only represent Kafugulong and Potloko district, Honorable Abdul Kabo.
A. Another A. B. C. APC. I want to recognize the presence of the acting chairman of the party, the executive of the party, the PRO, CB, and I want to recognize the presence of the flag bearer aspirant over there, and the able parliamentary leadership, and members of parliament, members of the 4th estate, and party supporters that will come. I also want to recognize the presence of Barrister Boniface, who will play a very key role in the tripartite committee. I recognize your presence, sir. Yes, sir. I just come from Ghana, just polish all meeting and all say. When Honorable Tigo will talk, he talk about the recommendation where they make for order for the president. Say the policy for whom 50% plus 1 vote, then if we get 25%, now half of the district. But when they come, then change them to simple majority and 20% and 2/3 of the district. Now, we are lawmakers. The way we see the law, not to so other person will see the law. And law when you make them, you know they make the law for let it be prone to abuse. After considerable look at that very recommendations, me develop another opinion. Mr. Chairman, sir, I strongly believe say in a law wey for determine the presidency we not for include district vote as part of the law for determine order for the presidency. Order for the president. I will tell you why. When you look the Local Government Act of 2022 and even the one wey be there 2004, yes, it shows say for let them declare a new district, now the president get the right on the advice of 3 people left: Minister of Local Government, Chief Electoral Commissioner, and the Finance Minister. Once they don't advise her, and if he say yes, they forgot to declare a new district, it just need for send a parliament a statutory instrument. Wetin na statutory instrument? Statutory instrument na instrument wey dey derive im authority from act of parliament. Una dey get me? And when dem get go statutory instrument na parliament, you wey no want am at all. You wey say no, this statutory instrument is not for pass. Na you forget the 2/3 majority. Una dey get me? So if today the Minister of Finance and Vice President, Chief Electoral Commissioner, Vice President, Local Government Minister, Vice President, say let them create 10 districts more than the Southeast. President need just for send the statutory instrument at Parliament. And for that we stop her, now we go need the 2/3 majority vote. So if you can put say, order for being president, forget 20%, now half of the district, they get tendency for create more districts than wey go make am difficult for let you get 20% na half of the district. I don't know if una dey get me. Because wetin we don notice, dem notice say we eye don open by the rigging wey dem do. So now na law dem wan take for win the elections. Na law dem wan take for win the elections. And from the day wey the tripartite committee dem do am in good faith, dem do am in very good faith, because with people we get there na very intelligent people, they are extremely intelligent, dem do am in good faith. For them people there na people wey dey can sit down agree with them in good faith,
When they go change everything una agree. Then get plan A, then get plan B. You see. So we dey see am say in no way dem for tire to district vote because from the day when they get that discussion then na the tripartite wey dem say well don begin make am so to district because once he let the person get national appeal let get this and then tell dem dey themselves begin talk about the creation of new district. So they go create plenty district for themselves. And it go even prone to abuse by even future presidents the way they can. When president no want less power, now more districts they go create. We go make am very difficult for any opposition not able to get the number of districts there wey e get na im struggle. So as parliament, we for do due diligence to this nation. We for ensure say we prevent any law wey dey make one political party entrench itself into power. Then secondly, the party don call me. The chairman of the party, the acting chairman, the secretary general, publicity secretary, they don call we the members of parliament. And I want to seize this opportunity in the presence of the members of parliament for assure una back say we dey talk with one voice. And this time around, any member of parliament wey want to something funny, we dey expose you. We no dey make we dey expose you. Because for let you go na parliament, not for SLPP say you know. For let you go na parliament, APC deprive plenty people wey we want to see for like you. Na im dey send you na parliament. So when they send you na parliament, na for seek the interest of this country and seek the interest of the political party. Not to for go take money for your personal country. The executive therefore talk to me, but as the leader of the party in the parliament, I want also assure and say I don't talk to the team. I don't talk to the team. And the team for no say, now lower level we dey come to so. After lower level, we get the flag bearer, now award of party symbol. If APC dey together 100%, SLPP they no dey able to change command by this constitution. They no dey able to change command by this constitution. If SLPP change anything in this constitution, it means say APC MPs they also responsible for that act. They we responsible for that act. So now that make the secretariat they can engage members of parliament for law to serve the country, law to serve this nation, and law to do the best we can do. And also, if I can talk small to wetin the brilliant presentation wey Honourable Aaron Aruna Foroma present. If I can talk smallly, now if me, Sidi, Lobus, and Ufa, we all dey na lonely. Yeah, along say we all dey na the field. Na here we all want the symbol of the party. We all want the symbol of the party. Then, or we all dey na western area. Don't say Sidi dey na western area, me dey na western area, Lobus dey na western area, Ufa dey na western area. Then Ufa, na he no make sure say he dey with the people there. Na he no make sure say he represent the people there. Na he no make sure say he do everything for the people there. Come rain, come shine, he dey with the people there. Then na Ufa, the people they want for let he go represent them. Then Sidi, not be ever dey na in constituency. He not be ever dey concept. So tell na Kabbalah dey sit down. Or so tell na other side dey sit down out of the country na sit down. Then take am for go na parliament. Na western area dem put Sidi number 1. Dem put me number 2. Dem put Lobus number 3. Dem put Ufa number 4. And na 4 6 day. E mean say all that work wey Ufa me don dey work wey e don get as support from people dem. All the people that they whether they can vote now to see the vote list as well. So if APC get 2 seats out of the 4 seats, it means that now CD and me they go to parliament. Who far where they make we get all the vote that even they go to parliament. I don't know if that get it. You know they go to parliament. Now long as you say CD don't go to parliament, yeah. Yeah, this illustrative example why they make not to say CD not the go to constituency. We all know CD say na one man way come late come shine. It is in constituency. And one man way, if I not to constituency, the district and a region, a command authority, and one of the hope there of APC and the southeast. Yes, of course. Now, as you say, CD don't go to parliament. Yeah? When CD go to parliament, the people that get problems today, they can meet and for Lego represent, they go talk with the happen with them in parliament. CD know they open the mouth for the people there. You know they listen to the people there. You know they do nothing for the people there. You know I know whether in fact whether electors say come over Western area back, he go. If CD come next time back for constant, he just need the party for taking it, they put number 1 back. All would have been able to na back, then they number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. If possible say then no they come back. Now under the party wants, under the party say now he will come back to parliament. If not selfish party executive will get, they will embrace that kind of lobby. But the party say no, we don't want that kind of power though. We don't care go to the people there. We wait till we believe now people there for determine who that for them in parliament. So if we determine the way they come, they give us symbol, we must have no big person at this party. Now we people there and they say no, now we couple one. We must have no big people there. And you watch the generation of MPs the way they are parliament, they will tell you say not of political influence can we go to parliament. Now because we people they say now we the one, now we will not deal with them. Most of the MPs there where they are parliament now, they fetch for symbols with people that will get money past them, will get influence past them, will connected past them. But the party say no, Lord look who that the people they want. Lord will fail who that the people they want. Now that makes most of our MPs there and we MPs there, they're not they play with the people. As we talk, so we get MPs there, we don't undertake developments there at their constituency. We get MPs there where they build schools. We get like Jawa say yes. If they build school, if they build hospital, in fact now women go send for Gobina, 3 schools. We get Honorable AKK. He said not to about 4 hospitals, the week. Yes. We get Honorable Latif. He said don't begin one big always the bill. We get almost all the MPs there. Honorable Elon, all the bike man if they give them fear money, they all in the fear them bike there na Koinadogu. We get a lot of things that are calling the sorry. That's not I want change in constituency. Yes. We get a lot of things when we MPs that they do. You know why they? Then by the whole can listen at the party. We meet them say no to they're not left and left foot. We see the responsibility where they get. We see the people the way that they take care of. We see the way that they make the party entrench. So we say for come. Now we say no, we say no go see double. We say why they talk to us so. I get free school in Amuge. When no beginner they buy uniform. And they buy uniform for the world school. And they pay teachers then at the world school. And they buy bag for the world school. No beginner they buy games. No book, no nothing. We will do it for them. Because we believe say outside politics you for sacrifice for your people there. Now that they will make them elect you. So imagine. Meanwhile they buy uniform so. Imagine. Or Jawa where they build school so. Imagine the party go come with other person wey can stay, they can put am on the list number 1. Na him go na parliament, Jawa no go na parliament. So we say if this government believes say they respect the people there, let them give the people the right for choose who that for leader. Then also the argument there about the register in political party. Una hear wey some man dey talk say how APC na the knowledge smaller party, APC na the believe in pluralism.
Unity Broadcasting Television don come for unify, sensitize and inform Salon people home and abroad.